Hey there, focused learners, and welcome back. Listen, today we are tackling a concept that can, and honestly will, instantly transform your daily grind, especially if you're one of those people who feels like you have absolutely zero time to just sit around on a meditation cushion all day. In today's explainer, we're diving into the fascinating concept of everyday mindfulness landmarks. This is drawn directly from our source material, 12 Steps to a Good Life. We're going to see exactly how this text completely demystifies mindfulness and shows us how to weave it right into our busiest, most chaotic days. And the best part? It doesn't add a single extra minute to your schedule. The text drops this incredibly powerful thought right out of the gate. It says, "We overcomplicate life. We have lost the ability to enjoy existence without trying to fix it." Wow. I mean, let's be totally honest with ourselves. We have all been there, right? The modern world is just chaotic. You're constantly rushing from one task to the next. You're always trying to optimize, plan ahead, and troubleshoot your way through the week. It literally feels like you're stuck on an endless treadmill. But, what if we're actually making things way, way harder than they need to be? So the source material poses a really compelling question here. What if mindfulness didn't require a meditation cushion? Seriously? What if finding genuine peace doesn't actually require booking some expensive mountaintop retreat or finding a perfectly silent room or, let's be real, carving out a 45-minute block from your already overloaded calendar? We tend to buy into this myth, right? This idea that mindfulness is this exotic, highly isolated practice reserved only for monks or people with endless amounts of free time. But as you'll see, the text completely shatters that illusion. Instead, the text makes a very clear, absolutely crucial point. It states that mindfulness isn't about escaping reality, it's returning to it in its fullest form. True mindfulness is actually a highly accessible state. It doesn't mean you have to somehow magically empty your mind of all thoughts or run away from your crazy, busy life. Actually, scratch that. It's not about running away at all. Rather, it's about weaving a deep, grounded awareness directly into the very fabric of the things you're already doing every single day. Okay, let's dive into this a bit more. To really understand how this works, the source outlines how we generally operate in two basic modes. First up is doing mode. This is pure autopilot. It's when we are just trying to fix things, we're constantly rushing, and we're totally lost in our own thoughts. You might be physically present in a room, but mentally, you are miles away. Contrasting that is what the text calls being mode. This is where we are experiencing, accepting, and fully present in the moment without any judgment or resistance. The primary goal of everyday mindfulness is simply to shift your brain, to take it out of that exhausting, robotic autopilot of the doing mode and bring it right back into the being mode. And that brings us to the ultimate solution, the mindfulness landmark. The source defines this as a physical, sensory trigger, or just an ordinary daily action used to ground yourself entirely in the now. Pointing this out and giving it a specific, concrete name is incredibly helpful because it acts as an anchor for our understanding. A landmark is essentially any mundane, everyday thing that brings you back to your senses. It literally acts as a trigger to stop your mind from drifting off, and it forces you to experience the exact physical reality you're standing in at that exact moment. It's a real game changer. Now, what's really interesting about this next point is how incredibly simple these landmarks can be. We're just using our basic, everyday human senses as instant physical triggers. Take hearing, for example. Hearing becomes the act of just letting sounds arrive without immediately labeling or judging them. Touching becomes paying really close attention to the texture of whatever you happen to be holding or brushing against. And eating? Eating transforms from just blindly fueling up into slowing down, naming your food, chewing thoroughly, and actually tasting it fully. The beauty here is that you don't need any special equipment to do this. Your own body, your own senses, that is literally all the equipment you need to trigger a state of mindfulness. So let's look at how this actually applies to our daily chores. The text highlights a sort of chronological day in the life arc using three incredibly mundane tasks as the ultimate mindfulness solutions: making the bed, washing a dish, and sweeping the floor. Let's start with the morning routine, right? Making the bed. Usually we're blindly throwing the covers up while already stressing out about our morning commute, or maybe we just leave them in a tangled mess. But stop. Instead, try to actually notice the texture of the fabric against your hands. Feel the physical tension in your muscles as you pull the sheets tight, and then really feel the release when you let go. Appreciate the simple visual creation of order out of total chaos. Creating order on your bed brings your mind entirely off autopilot. Suddenly, you are fully present in your bedroom and you are nowhere else. Now, you can carry this exact same practice right into the afternoon. Think about washing a single dish. We almost always treat this as a frustrating obstacle, just something in our way. But by treating it as a mindfulness landmark, you change the entire experience. Feel the warm water on your skin. Notice the scent of the soap. Focus entirely on the physical act of cleaning that one plate. By engaging with these tactile sensations, you create a deep, profound contrast to the usual rushing of your afternoon. You replace that stress with a grounding physical reality. It's just you, the warm water, and the dish. That's the whole shebang. And it is the exact same principle when you're sweeping the floor. Listen to the rhythmic sound of the bristles scraping against the floorboards. Observe the physical movement of your arms and your body. Make a conscious choice to let go of that constant urge to just rush to the finish line. The simple, repetitive rhythm of sweeping acts as a perfect mental anchor. It pulls you right out of that stressful corporate doing mode we talked about earlier and perfectly anchors your mind in your immediate physical environment. Think of it this way. You aren't just cleaning your house, you are actively clearing out your mental clutter. Which brings us to a really profound philosophical conclusion from the source text, and it's this: time is an illusion. There is no past and there is no future. There is only this exact moment. When we're caught up in that frantic doing mode, we are almost always living in the past, endlessly replaying memories, or we're living in the future, daydreaming, planning, or worrying. But as the text firmly reminds us, those are just mental constructs. They do not actually exist. It is honestly quite awe-inspiring to realize that true peace is found right here, right now, entirely in the physical sensations of the present. It all leads to this incredibly impactful conclusion from the text. The present moment is all you ever truly have. So here is my question to you, and I really want you to think about this. The next time you go to wash a cup, or sweep a floor, or make your bed, are you just going to blindly rush through it on autopilot just to get it over with? Or are you going to use it as a landmark to actually truly live your life? The magic isn't hiding on some expensive meditation retreat. It is waiting for you right now in your everyday routines. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this material today. I highly encourage you to dive into these concepts further and let your daily life become your greatest teacher.